Okay, this is Moshe coming to you from Israel in the Galilee, and we're on Wednesday, the 5th of March, and we're getting a lot of wind, and it looks like there is going to be rain tomorrow. It's 65 degrees now, but it feels really cold outside. They say it feels like 57. And there's quite a bit of wind, but it's supposed to get sunny in the late afternoon, whatever that'll be worth. But it's chilly outside, and no, the rain's not for tomorrow. The rain's for Friday. My mistake. They went from 75% to 65%. So it may or may not happen, and it may not happen in our area. We're thinking it's going to happen in the south, but tomorrow we're going to hit 69. And then after the rain, Saturday 71, and 70, 71, and Tuesday next week 76. And listen to this: Wednesday next week 81, Thursday next week 82. We're going, guys. I told you this the other day. We could have a very, very rapido. I don't speak Spanish. Great. We're going to have a very rapid time to summer. 82, in my opinion, is not yet summer. 86, 87, anything over 85, I'm thinking is summer. So we might be in summer very quickly. Maybe. I mean, I'm not Popeye the Weatherman, you know. And you also need to understand this. The weatherman is not a prophet. Okay? He can look at all his instruments he wants. God is in control of the weather. Okay? I don't care what his instruments say. Most of the time, it's going to be reasonably accurate. But God is in control. And this brings to mind something else. You know, I've known people, I've known of stories, I should say, more than I really knew many people. The doctor tells him, get your affairs in order. Oh, how long do I got? Oh, you got 3 months, 6 months, 2 months, 9 months. And they follow the doctor's order, and right about the 6-month mark, if they told them 6 months, they die. The doctors are not prophets. Okay? They're not God. They're not prophets. To a good extent, probably 90% of them are business people. Yeah, they're business people. And there really are doctors. I have a family full of them, distant family, but there are doctors that actually care about working and not getting paid a lot of money for it, okay? Doctors Without Borders, they got mercy ships that go to different countries. You know, this exists. But, you know, for every one of those, there's 9 that want to get a new Mercedes and a beach house and take flying lessons and, you know, stuff like that, okay? I know about doctors, okay? And they like money. You know, I was talking to somebody about what it costs to get a facelift now. Not that I was going to get a facelift, but I was somebody. The conversation went there. And they're getting $40,000 for a facelift. So that means if this guy does 1 facelift a week, that's $160,000. And then he's going to do other procedures, you know, eye lifts, forehead lifts, liposuction, breast implants, stuff like that, right? So these guys are probably making $3 million a year now. And when they get finished with their overhead, their insurance, supplies, this and that, 250,000 probably goes down to 175, something like that, maybe 190. Then they got taxes. These guys are rolling in the dough because people are hung up on the flesh and they want to go and get these expensive procedures. I know, like about 40 years ago, for whatever that's worth, a facelift at a not big shot doctor was $5,000. Basically the same procedure. Anyway, we'll go through some stuff today on the news. We'll talk about fulfillment of Zechariah 12 coming. I had to go to court and be a witness this morning, so that's why I'm on late. It knocked us out. The both of us, we had to get down there. The moron, we were just witnesses. The moron that was involved, this is the traffic accident where a woman came out of an intersection and rolled our car about 9 years ago, something like that. And previously she decided to sue our insurance company for the damages to her car and to sue us. She hit us. So she's still maintaining she hit us. She hit us in the door. So, I didn't want to get involved with the judge or anything. I just was a good boy and, I got in there. I was very nice and respectable to the judge. I had to show the judge I was on my game mentally. And they were going to, because the woman didn't even show up. The attorney from her insurance company showed up. And the attorney for the insurance company of the rent-a-car company showed up. She was very, very nice. She was a young gal. She couldn't have been nicer to us. She was so nice, And I told her, I said, we don't want to have to drag ourselves back here again, My wife was in the hospital a few months ago, stuff like that. So because nobody was there, so she went to the judge. And she said to the judge, let them, if they got to come back, I think we should let them use the computer, but let's hear the testimony today. And the judge was such a nice guy. He was an Arab. He could have been a Catholic or a Christian, or he could have been a Muslim, but I doubt that. He's a very, very nice guy. And we were... we were explaining what happened. Yeah, I mean, my testimony was 5 minutes, and my wife was maybe 8 minutes because she was driving, And then we got out of there. Then we had to come back, but we had rush hour traffic, and we had to go to a courthouse. The lawyers moved the trial away from Tiberias to Nazareth because they didn't want the woman to get the fix in, which she tried to do here in Tiberias, we understand. So, the courts are very flaky here. And it was pleasant. The only thing I didn't like is the courthouse was located in what used to be Nazareth Elite, and that's Sarah Elite, which means heights or hills, like Beverly Hills or something like that, Doesn't literally exactly go to English, but so they call it now Naf Galil, Naf HaGalil, and you get a good view from up there. So we had to, and we weren't enthralled with having to go to Nazareth during Ramadan because there's tons of Muslims in Nazareth, but there's Jewish sections and there's Catholic/Christian sections and stuff. So you have to walk up probably 125 steps to get up to the courthouse. I never saw anything like this. Maybe 150 steps. Oh, we just got, I mean, we both walked up the steps, no problem, you know. But, I mean, what do they do with somebody that is really incapacitated? I don't understand how you set a court up. I can see 3 steps, 9 steps, you know, something like that. 150, it could have been 180. I mean, it was incredible. There was multiple staircases. I never saw anything ridiculous like that. Then when you get inside, you got more steps to go up. And I didn't see any elevators. They might have an elevator there. I don't know. So it was weird, you know, that. And the courtroom, this is funny also. The courtroom was about 25 feet deep and maybe 18 feet wide. It was funny, you know, it's tiny, you know, and we did it in English. We didn't want to try to struggle, you know, and try to get through Hebrew, so we did it in English, and you know, the judge was really, I would say, a sweetheart. But then again, we were witnesses, so we had no, you know, no stake in the fight, and he was really a nice guy. I was extremely impressed how nice the guy was. They don't have you take an oath. What the guy says is, if you know you're lying in your testimony, you can be, you know, subject to the criminal law. Do you understand that? And yeah, I understand. That's all you do. Where, you know, in America, they start with taking these oaths, so help you God, and you can't do that. So what you have to tell the judge in America is, I do so affirm, and they know that, and they accept that. But here I was thinking, well, I have to do the same thing if he's going to tell me to swear. But there's so many Orthodox Jews here that won't do that. So they just say, you know, you could be subject to criminal penalties if you lie, you know that. And yeah, okay, proceed, you know. So that was, it was an easy thing. We got it. The traffic wasn't that bad. They didn't have the GPS turned off, so we were able to use Google Earth and Waze, and took us right to the door. We got a parking spot right nearby, and you know, it was, you know, knocked the two of us out. I think my wife took a nap already, so I'm a little bit knocked out, but we'll have a broadcast. Okay. Let me see who's in the live stream and if we got sound and picture. Okay. A little bit knocked out, but we got sound and picture. Yaya is a demonic name, by the way, just so you guys know. Okay. Being a Bible-believing site, I'm going to do some praise. There is no God like Jehovah. 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 There is no Messiah like Yeshua. 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 All right. So what's going on? So they had that Arab conference. I think they got 53 or 56 members of the Arab League, if I got the right organization. And well, anyway, 22 showed up in Cairo to talk about Gaza, and they said they want the Egypt solution for Gaza, which basically is everybody stays in Gaza, including Hamas, and we get foreign countries to monitor a ceasefire, and in 6 months we want to bring the Palestinian Authority in control, and you know, all this idiot stuff, right? So Israel rejected it, and Trump rejected it. Trump said Hamas can't stay in Gaza. Well, how are you going to have your big resort with Hamas there? They'd go out and rob, 75 tourists every day if it ever happened, right? So they may rob 300 a day. You can't. They'd start shaking the hotels down with bomb threats and execution. That'd be impossible. You really can't do it with the Palestinians either. So, Trump's idea, in my opinion, is to get Hamas out of there first, and then it makes it very, very easy to move them out. And I think he has every intention of shoving 1 million into Egypt and 1 million into Jordan, and they're both freaking out about that. So then Trump says, I'll be happy to continue negotiations with the Arab League people. Well, they're not interested in negotiations, This is it. They were trying to give an ultimatum to Trump, and Trump basically told him to go fly a kite. But if you want to come back and talk, I'll talk. Trump will listen. I mean, he'll listen all day long, but he's not going to abide by what they say, but he's going to listen. Any smart negotiator, would listen. Trump's also enlisting Putin to negotiate a nuclear deal with Iran. Is this going to work? Well, let me clue you in. Putin has sent his scientists and nuclear technicians and nuclear scientists over there to help Ukraine make high-grade nuclear material. So now Putin wants to negotiate for Trump. It's funny. Why is Trump doing it? He's trying to pull Putin in. Okay? He doesn't want to have a war with Putin, at least not now. And he's interested in some trade with Russia and knocking down the sanctions, stuff like this. And he sees the Ukraine-Russia war straining his relations with NATO to the point where he might have to leave, and straining his relationship with the EU. The only one whose relationship is not going to get strained is the UK. They're going to hang tough with America, and America will hang tough with them, and that's the long and the short and the tall of it. And they're not in the EU. They are in NATO. Trump's logic is sound. He doesn't want to see Europe drag him into a big fight against Russia, which would most likely cause China and North Korea and Iran to rise up. So he doesn't want that. So he's basically saying, if Ukraine wins or loses, how the heck does that help or hurt America? Golly gee, it doesn't. He has not done any ceasefire with Zelensky yet. He's supposedly holding out for a better deal with Zelensky. So I don't know what Zelensky is up to, but Trump's not yet there. Trump wants more than that. Okay? So that is interesting, right? Next. Russia has assembled a fleet of 32 assorted Russian bomber jets. They can shoot missiles, drop bombs. 3 submarines and additional warships. The submarines and the warships fire missiles. And of course, the planes could drop bombs and fire missiles. And it appears that Putin is staging for a substantial attack on Ukraine. And I mean, it's going to be rather substantial, big time. And Ukraine keeps knocking off his oil refineries. You knock off enough of those oil refineries, you're going to hurt Russia. Okay? So Russia knows that. So have we seen Russia stage for big attacks before and not do them? Not like this, really. Maybe smaller level with his long range missiles, but no, I don't think we've seen anything like this. 32 bombers is a lot of bombers. Now, when Israel attacks, we generally go with 32 jets. That's not the same as a bomber. A bomber has probably 15 times the amount of ordnance that a fighter jet has. Okay. So let me tell you, this is super devastating. And he might fly a bunch of fighter jets with the bombers to protect them if anybody launches a plane. I mean, Zelensky's got a few planes he might try launching, but they'll get shot down more than likely because of the odds are against them, numerical odds. The fear would be some European country comes in to stop it. So is Trump working with Putin to scare Zelensky? Like this is not a real attack. It's just something him and Putin worked out to put the fear of the Russian bombers in Zelensky's mind. Yeah, I mean, it would be a good tactic for Trump. But then on the other hand, it might be real. I don't know. So far, I have not read of any reports of them bombing. Now, that could be 32 bombers isn't enough. Putin might be assembling another 30 or 40. He might be moving more warships in. He might be moving surface-to-surface missiles. I don't know what he's up to. But at the very least, he is probably scaring the daylights out of Zelensky. That's a lot of ordnance. Now, I'm hearing those emergency that Rubio put in, a request for some 35,000 bombs. Practically all of them are big, heavy bombs. And 5,000 JDAM kits, which attach to various bombs that make them highly accurate and guided, very precision. Enough for 5,000 missiles. So I think it's 35,000 bombs, and Rubio put it on front burner for, emergency delivery. So people are thinking that we're going to get it in a few days. I don't know. Now, last night we attacked some missile installations still yet left over from Bashar Assad in Syria. Now, hearken to this. Hark, hark, hark. Last night we attacked, drum roll, Damascus with bombs. Specifically northeast Damascus. We didn't attack northeast of Damascus, we attacked Damascus. And what do you think that brought to my mind? Damascus shall be a ruinous heap. Is that illogical for me? No. Did we flatten Damascus per se? No. We also did a precision surgical strike on the Hamas naval commander. So in other words, numero uno in Hamas for their navy. Now, does Hamas have a navy? Come on. They got fishing boats. They call it a navy. No, they don't have a navy, but he was in Jenin in the West Bank. What the heck was that garbage bucket doing over there? Well, anyway, he got a targeted strike, and he's probably, he's off the surface of the face of the earth. Let's leave it there. Okay. What's Hamas going to do about it? Not a whole lot of anything. What are they going to do? There doesn't seem to be any possibility of a ceasefire that is coming out of the mouths of Hamas. the demands appear to be inflexible, and they're still, get out of Israel, and, then we'll give you some hostages back. The latest counter from Israel is, we'll do another ceasefire for 6 weeks, but at onset of the ceasefire, we need half the hostages, living and dead bodies. Trump is talking publicly, I think, from his congressional address. What was it, State of the Union or something? Or congressional, I don't remember which one it was, but he was saying we got to get those hostages back. Trump is supporting Israel occupying that buffer zone in Syria, which goes in almost 40 miles, and protecting the Druze. We got armored columns running around over there, and the Druze are forming a militia. So take a wild guess. Who do you think on the face of the earth might give the Druze more advanced weapons than AK-47s? Let's see. Brazil, no. Nassau, Bahamas, no. Let's see, who else could it be? Chile, no. Israel, bingo! I think we'll give them some stuff. What stuff would we likely give them? Well, probably, 100 anti-tank missiles that are shoulder fired. That'll just go, if these characters running Syria have any of Bashar Assad's leftover tanks, which apparently they do. The Israeli anti-tank rockets will just go through the armor and toast them. Maybe some artillery and maybe some mortars. What else? Maybe a few pieces of high-tech rifles for snipers, some sniper rifles with scopes, some pistols for concealed carry if the Druze need to go into enemy territory. That's probably about it. Bulletproof vests maybe, but I doubt that. Communications, that we give them. And we might even give them radios to contact our military. Probably will. We might give them advice on building bunkers. But I'd fall over if we didn't arm them. It doesn't cost a lot of money to arm them. So that is hot and getting hotter. We're attacking anything in Lebanon right now that's moving around in South Lebanon looking like a threat. We also attack 5 miles away inside Lebanon from the border, from the Litani River that they're not supposed to cross. That's 17, 18 miles away, depending on how the river roams. So that was, and we also attacked Hamas last night. So we attacked the West Bank, Syria, Lebanon, and Gaza. And that's a typical night. We just changed our head of the IDF. Probably because Israel's going to go into a very aggressive war with Gaza. It's going to be nothing like what we saw with Biden. It's going to probably be 3 or 4 times more brutal against them. And the existing chief of the IDF, or the head of staff, whatever they call that. He was probably not up to snuff on, playing wipeout on the heads of Hamas, the whole community. So they changed them, and I'm sure the next guy is all geared up for a big wipeout in Gaza. I think Netanyahu is stalling, waiting for these big bombs to come in from America. The ones that explode in the air and do a huge blast wave that goes a mile, probably a quarter mile wide. And he figures that he's going to scare the daylights out of them. Not Hamas. They don't scare, they die. That's the only remedy. Take all their weapons away and make sure they don't get more weapons, and you got something. But when they're dead, then they don't do anything. They just die. So I don't know what day those weapons are going to get here, but they'll get here. The Houthis are saying if we violate the ceasefire, although there is no ceasefire, and attack Gaza, they're going to attack any Israeli ship, which means they'll attack any maritime shipping line that ever sent a ship to or from Israel. And they're also going to get the Americans. Will they follow through? Oh, yeah. They'll follow through. So that's going to be a very interesting event when the Houthis decide to rise up. Have I ever thought about not being so old? You know what you should do? You should pray that God kills you when you're young. How's that, genius? No comeback from that one, huh? Prayer requests. Okay. We're not done, but I'll do the prayer requests now. NF Nancy Frank. NF Nancy Frank. NF. Healing for a gallbladder. For NF. Next. EB. Echo Bravo. EB Echo Bravo EB. The Lord would show sins in this person's life and provide healing for EB. Show sins in this person's life, I guess, with a inclination towards repentance and for healing. GT, Girl Tom. GT, Girl Tom. Healing for cancer. GT, healing for cancer. AV, Alpha Victor. AV, Alpha Victor, healing for cancer. For Alpha Victor. We get a lot of people that are putting in requests for people with dread diseases. I don't have the details, but I suspect these people are ministering to the sick, or they perhaps work in a hospital, or one of those places people go when the doctors believe they're going to die a hostile or something, but I don't know. But I don't want you to get the impression that the believers in our group are getting cancer like crazy and other dread diseases. No, I don't want you to think that, because I am rather certain that's not the case. Okay, and it's fine if they want to put the prayer request in, it's perfectly okay. Yeshua went around healing the sick, They weren't believers when he healed them. It's fine. It's okay. But I don't want you to start thinking everybody's coming down with dread diseases. That's why I said. Okay, now this is a remarkable thing that happened recently in 3 days, and we never heard of it. Turkey has bombed what's called Kurdistan in Iraq. Kurds in Iraq, maybe Kurdistan in Iraq, 1,072 times in the last 3 days. Today would probably be the 4th day. That would mean 1,072 bombs, missiles, or rockets were detonated over there. And we don't hear nothing about it. Why? The media is pro-Turkey and Turkey's anti-Israel, so that does it, doesn't it? Trump in Greenland. Trump tells Greenland on his State of the Union address, or the Congress address the other day, yesterday I think, he tells Greenland they have the right to self-determination, and said they would be welcome into the United States and they would be safe, secure, and wealthy. And he said that he'll have Greenland one way or the other. He's getting scary. And what about if he talks like that about Canada? Is he going to send troops to Greenland or Canada? I have no idea. I don't know. The Attorney General of Israel, not America, of Israel, said that the Israeli government should put sanctions on the ultra-Orthodox that are refusing to comply with their draft notices. So, they have a combination of about 15 seats in the Knesset, and if they pull away from Netanyahu and call for a vote of no confidence, they may get somewhere. What they're going to do is tell Netanyahu if he complies with this and does it, they're going to leave the coalition. Netanyahu would then say, well, what do you want me to do? They'll say, well, you're the prime minister, do what you need to do, but make this go away or we're going to pull out of your coalition. And that could break up the coalition, cause a vote of no confidence, and mess up Netanyahu royally. If the ultra-right wing, who has about 15 seats, hooks up with the ultra-Orthodox, they've got 30 seats, and that is dangerous for Netanyahu. Big time. So Netanyahu is likely to just ignore the Attorney General, and that's going to tick off the Attorney General, and we'll see what happens. Trump said in his speech he's already begun taking the Panama Canal because an American company just won a contract and they're going to be doing some work in the Panama Canal. What that work is was not disclosed. Do I think that's any kind of a significant step in taking back the Panama Canal? Not in the least. Trump said if the countries he's put the sanctions on, which started today, I believe, specifically China, Mexico, and Canada, if they impose counter tariffs against America, he is going to increase his tariffs by the amount of the counter tariffs they impose. So this trade war, while it has not gone hot, is heated, and it can damage the American economy. Now, it gets worse with Canada. Ontario, the governor, I think the guy's name is Ford. That's a state or a province in Canada, whatever term they use. I think province. They give electricity to Michigan, Minneapolis. Wait, let me check my names here. Michigan, New York, and Minnesota. They give them electricity, and they said if the counter tariffs don't work and Trump starts messing with them, now they already put a 25% tariff on the electricity they sell to the Americans, predominantly in these three locations. Already put 25%, and they're basically saying if Trump comes on now with another 25% against Canada, we're going to cut off the electricity to these three locations completely, yank the plug. Now that will be likely catastrophic for America. Can Trump just throw some switches and reroute electricity to these three regions? Maybe, but it's just also as likely it might take a month or two to reroute the electricity. I have no knowledge of this, but their electricity bills just went up to 25%, and Trump's going to continue and throw another 25% back at Canada. So China says to Trump, if you want to have a trade war or any other kind of war, we're fine, we're in, count us in. Basically, those are the words they were using. Not exactly what I said, but that drift. So Egypt and Trump are now on a collision course, and I told you prophecy indicates America's gonna attack Egypt and have a big victory over it. Trump wants that gambling casino resort project in Gaza badly. He does not want to give it back to Israel, Israel's true owner, who had it until 2008 and then gave it back to Gaza for peace. Ridiculous, but he doesn't want to give it back to Israel. He doesn't want Israel going over there and putting settlers in there. Okay? So he is not listening to the 22 Arab nations that came together about this. And that's to be expected. And Egypt was the one that drafted their proposal, and Egypt's the one with 100,000 soldiers on our border and the border of Gaza. And while Trump is not publicly speaking to that oil project of the he's not speaking to much, okay? He's just blowing smoke at the Arabs and saying, I'll talk about it with you. But any day now, Israel's going to go and start wiping out whatever's left of Gaza. And it's going to start probably with some warnings in terms of bombs and rockets dropping. And if that doesn't work, then it's going to just get jacked up wholesale. And that's the direction it's going. And I think we're going to see, before this is gone very far, days, Trump will have troops in Gaza. The likely excuse for troops in Gaza would be special forces to help find and rescue the hostages, some of which are American. And it's hard for the nations to come back at Trump. You know, you say, look, they're lunatics. They won't give the hostages back. It's been pushing up on a year and a half. They won't give them back. And you see, the nations can't go and run with that. It's too controversial. You understand that? I think you do. So it's going to go hot. And then the Houthis are going to go hot. Guarantee on that one. Is Lebanon going to go hot? The Hezbollah? I don't think they got what to go hot with anymore. If they had such a nifty weapons stash, why, since we did that ceasefire maybe 2 months or more, 3 months ago, probably 3 months ago with Lebanon, why did the Iranians try like at least 50 times to get weapons into Hezbollah? Well, they obviously need weapons. Does that mean they have no missiles or anything? No, I don't think it means that. I think it means that they're underprepared. They don't have enough. So they're not in good position to do much to us. We told them if the Hezbollah keeps trying to get into the south, we're just going to go bomb all missile depots, ammo dumps, facilities, command centers, anything that, training centers, anything that Hezbollah has anywhere in Lebanon, we're going to start blowing it up, including Beirut, the capital. Will Iraq do anything? Yeah, but not much. What are they going to do? Send drones or something? Not much. What about Syria? Well, that's going to come to a head, but I don't know exactly how. But yeah, they may try to get nuts. See, Israel doing all this stuff during Ramadan is rather unusual. It's a very volatile situation, and it's going to go. I still think there's going to be a strike on Iran's nuclear facilities by Israel, America, or both combined, maybe UK in there, I don't know. The UK is now running around saying Iran is the biggest security threat in the world, or to them, doesn't matter, So they might be joining in. Using Putin to negotiate with Russia gives Trump using Putin to negotiate with Russia gives Trump a very good air of cleanness. He could start to look like Mr. Clean because, hey, I tried to get them to stop. They wouldn't talk to me. So I even went to Russia and got Russia to negotiate with them, and they won't stop. Well, Russia's helping them build the nukes, and Trump goes to Russia to help negotiate with them. Well, go figure that one out, but I'm stumped by that one. So we're on the road to Zechariah 12, rapidly the siege, okay? You got Hamas, you got Egypt, you got Lebanon, we sort of got Syria now, we've got the Houthis, we got Iran threatening us, and we need Iraq, Jordan, and Turkey to come into play, and that's happening. Quickly, too. Don't think things aren't going to just pop. Don't think that. Because we read of things happening suddenly in a day, even in an hour. The daughter of Babylon, the capital city, the Columbia, this goes. So don't think it's not going to happen. South Carolina, the fires, well, they're getting a rough time with those fires there. There's lots of them, and they're running around trying to put them out. I will kindle fires in and around your city. I'm rather well convinced that this is ongoing right now, but it hasn't gotten anywhere near its fullness, but I think it's cooking up. Okay? Wars and rumors of wars, we got that. We're just waiting for the wars to pop off. Earthquakes, yeah, they seem to be mildly elevating. Social media is full of false prophets with visions, dreams, and prophecies. So, guys, all I can tell you is it looks like we're barreling down the track. And to the world, they don't see what we see because they don't know the scriptures. No, we don't need the red heifer. When you read Zechariah 12 and 13, they're continuous. I'll read you Zechariah 13, the verse that shows you why we don't need the red heifer. But I mean, if you read Zechariah 12:10, you realize it. He cleanses Israel. I'll read you Zechariah 13, for instance. That's not the whole story, but it'll give you a pretty good hunk of it about the red heifer, why it's not needed. I think it's about verse 2, but we'll read 1. Maybe it's in 1. Zechariah 13:1. In that day, that's the same Zechariah 12 that day, Zechariah 12:10, Zechariah 12:6. Those are the big events. There shall be a fountain opened to the house of David and to the inhabitants of Jerusalem for sin and for uncleanness. And it shall come to pass in that day, saith the Lord of hosts, that I will cut off the names of the idols out of the land that's out of Israel, Haaretz. Yea, yippee-o-ki-yay, and they shall no more be remembered. Excellent. Love it. And also I will cause the prophets, that's the fake prophets, and we got a ton of them in the churchianity, fake prophets running around Israel becoming millionaires. There's tons of them here. And the unclean spirit to pass out of the land. No more demons in Israel. How about that? Hip, hip, hooray. And it shall come to pass that when any shall yet prophesy, it's talking about the parents and they have a son becoming a false prophet and they kill him to follow the law. And then we got to also cover verse 8. And it shall come to pass in all the land called Haaretz, In Hebrew saith Jehovah, 2 parts or 2/3 therein shall be cut off and die. That means dead. But the third shall be left therein. And I will bring the third part through the fire, and will refine them as silver is refined, and will try them as gold is tried. They shall call on my name, and I will hear them. I will say it. I will say, it is my people, and they shall say, Jehovah Elohim. It's beautiful. Imagine living in Israel with, have great crops and all this stuff, but you also got no demons here. And when Yeshua appears in the clouds, we get everlasting life, and all the believers in Yeshua will. And then all the believers in Yeshua with their everlasting life are going to come on the next great Exodus, to come to Israel and get an equal share of the land with the tribe they sojourn with. That's found in Ezekiel 47, the last 3 verses. And I might add that when you get this piece of land, are you going to get a low interest rate loan? No, you're not. Are you going to have to put a down payment? No. Are you going to have to buy it? No. Are you going to get it absolutely for free? Absolutely for free. How do you like them apples? Praise Jehovah. So, yeah, things are looking real good. There's too much fulfilling at the same time, and it's kind of coming down the track pretty fast. So we're looking good for this harvest and everything, and Elijah's starting to work, and Apostle John. I mean, we're looking good. Too much going on. Storms, and all kinds of craziness going on. So let's see what else the chat has to say. Well, I think that's what I got for today, because I'm tired with having to go testify in court and do all that stuff. So I think I better bow out now. And please pray for me and my wife Rivka for our peace, safety, protection, joy, and healing. And pray for our finances and our animals and pets to be happy, healthy, and whole. And pray me and my wife have strength, stamina, and endurance. And what else? Pray for better videos. The Lord answers more questions about sequencing and timing on the end times events coming up on us. And pray for the peace of Jerusalem. That's always important. And I send my shalom to all those who love Yeshua HaMashiach. And I'm sorry for the short video, but it was unavoidable. And it needed to get done, and it's done. And I'll go back to praying in the Spirit, I guess, today. And we'll see what kind of Bible studies on prophecy the Lord has for us in the coming days. So if you want to get a quick heads up as to stuff going on in the Middle East, I suggest you subscribe. I'd like you to give me a thumbs up. It takes you 2 seconds, and it helps the channel, and it helps get the word out. So that's what I got, kids, and I'm out. Thank you.